And next up we have Carl's Doomsday Scenario, Dungeon Crawler, book number 2, written by the ever hilarious Matt Denneman. It is 364 pages, $3.99. It's available on Kindle Unlimited. Here's the author's description. The training levels have concluded. Now the games may truly begin. The ratings and views are off the chart. The fans just can't get enough. The dungeon gets more dangerous each day. But in a grinder designed to chew up and spit out crawlers by the millions, Carl and Princess Donut need to work harder than ever just to survive. They call it the Overcity, a sprawling, once thriving metropolis devastated by a mysterious calamity. But these streets are far from abandoned. An undead circus trawls the ruins. Murdered prostitutes rain from the sky. An ancient spell is finally ready to reveal its dark purpose, and Carl still has no pants. They call it a dungeon crawler They call it Dungeon Crawler World. For Carl and Donuts, it's anything but a game. Gotta like that little tag in the end. Okay, this is one of my favorite series. Matt Denham is one of my favorite authors. He is always someone who's just so creative and creepy sometimes. And this is definitely one of the series, probably on the lighter side of his creepy weirdness, in a good way, Matt, if you watch this. The story involves essentially a dungeon dive, but each dungeon level in this RPG apocalypse on Earth is just like themed so weird and creepy sometimes, and there's like these weird twists on monsters and power levels and quirky humor in the story, with this like Hunger Games kind of viewing audience from the galactic world that drops in occasionally and helps or harms like his chances and Princess Donut the cat who talks to him. That everything's just so odd, and it's for me it's so fun. It's one of my favorite series again, and I just took a little while to get to it. I know the story has already been out for a little while. Lots of folks have read it, enjoyed it. For me, it's just such a weird and fun twist on the RPG apocalypse kind of genre that I can't help but always give the author kudos for maintaining its quirky weirdness. Because for me, it's really hard. It would be really challenging to keep being so creative. The author does such a good job of it, so I'm always like impressed by him. Especially in book 2, there's probably a little more elements of horror in the story and like weird like creepy things. Not so much that it bothered me, but I've read a couple of reviews who are like, this is totally weird and creepy and gory sometimes, and that's not for me, and that's totally okay. If you ever read the author's other more like super horror version of this, which is the I forget what it's called, like Kaiju Battlefield Surgeon, this is definitely like several steps below that on the horror scale. So it's less horror lore in that, but there are definitely some elements in the story. It's like, oh, that's definitely you're definitely seeing Matt's enjoyment of the horror genre in this particular instance here. But he's reining it in for most of us. So I enjoy like seeing his creativity. So lots of good stuff here. There's slightly less emphasis on the RPG action. There is definitely a front-loaded section here where the main character gets his class eventually, his class and his power sets. But there's less emphasis on his leveling progression. He does level, he does have that progress, but that's not really the focus of the story. Instead, it's more about a couple particular quest lines that push the main character into like some twisted scenario he and Princess Donut have to survive. And I enjoyed that creativity. So for me, so it's a good review score. Like I really enjoyed it. Good score 7.8 out of 10. So that's really, really good for me. That's Carl's Doomsday Scenario, Dungeon Crawler Carl, book number 2, with a score of 7.8 out of 10. I really liked it.